you could have everything that you've always wanted in your life. And I say you could have because not everyone will do it. Not everyone will go after it, or maybe you don't want it. Not everyone wants it either, because it's not that you couldn't have it. It's just that you have to do something to have it. That's all that it is. And the thing that you have to do is pretty easy. It really is. Well, it's not, because that's why people don't do it. Because, see, the thing that you have to do is become yourself. I'm going to talk about that, and I want you to think about something. You were born with equal ability, talents, and gifts as any other human. It's true. Any other person, anyone that you see who has achieved great success in their lives, you have that as well. If you're looking for a lot of money, you want a big company you want to run, or earn a big career, you want to manage a lot of people, you have that within you to do it if you were to do it in the way that would cause that to happen, meaning that you have to become yourself. That doesn't make sense a lot of times, but that's exactly what it is. And certain people will come into the world and they decide, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be myself. And you see them. They have no fear. They just go for it. And all of a sudden, they're these huge successes. And we try to figure out how that happened. They just decided to believe themselves. They just decided to come into who they were meant to be, because everyone was giving that, all of us. Now, I can talk about this because I didn't do it. I did not do it, which is why I can tell you I know it's true, though. I know now that it's true, and that's why I do the work that I do, and I'm only working with those people who want the same thing. I want to work with those people who know that they have everything within them to create these wonderful lives that they wanted to live, having all the money, success, love, happiness, peace of mind, all those things. It's all within you. But you have to be willing to do the work. Not everyone is. There's a reason that we have people who don't have anything, who are homeless, or however we look at them. We call them bums. They're not. They're just people who have never been shown who they were. That's all. And you could be the same. I was the same. And the only difficulty we have is not being able to accept who we are. That's it. We can't accept what we were given, because if we could accept that, we would use it, because it's nothing that you have was given to you accidentally. You just discover that later. That's all. As you live your life, it starts to come up. But sometimes we don't embrace that. I didn't embrace that. And then I spent many years, decades, switching from one thing to the other. Let me figure out where I'm going to find that thing that's going to give me everything I want. I mean, I'm talking about all the money. I like to live well, and so I wanted to have all of that. And then I also wanted to have all of the success. I wanted to experience that. I wanted people to know it too. That's what I wanted. And then I also wanted the right relationship. Now, and none of those things I did. None of those things I did before I was willing to do the one thing, which was become myself. And you have it within you. And if you were willing to do that, you'd have it all. Now, I will tell you why people don't do it. Why I didn't do it. Because I wasn't willing to ask the right questions. I wasn't willing to look at, why am I thinking this way about myself? Where did it come from? Why is it there? How can I change it? How can I get over it? That's the only question we ever have. See, and then I started to judge myself for some of the things that I discovered about me that I thought, this is strange. This can't be a gift. And yes, it was, because I was really intuitive. And that's the part that was really strange for me. And then you probably have something that you thought, this is weird. Why do I feel this way? Why do I have this thing? What am I supposed to do with it? It's your gift. That's all. And if you're thinking about it being something that you can't do because of some physical disability you think you have, that's never true either. I was watching a competition last night, and there was this wonderful singer that came on, and she was in her early 20s, and she was really nervous when she got up on stage, and then she had to make a statement. And she said she had to admit, I was recently diagnosed autistic. and I can't remember, she said some level that it was, because there's different levels, but she said, I was recently diagnosed that way. And it was uncomfortable for her to say that. But you could see the audience going, wow, okay, that's great, because now she said that. She's acknowledged who she was. Now, how could we say that she wasn't given everything where she could make the life that she wanted? So then after that, she went and she did a performance. Everyone was in tears. Entire audience was in tears, because there was an emotion there that everyone felt, because they were watching a person who had decided to accept themselves and tell the world, and now they're successful. That's exactly what happens, and that's what would happen for you. It is no more complicated than that. It isn't. It is not any more complicated. However, it's not always really easy, because you have trauma in you. We are born with it. We all come into the world with it. It's different for each person, you see, because we have different families, different places we were raised, different countries, whatever it might be. So we are different. We have an individual DNA that we come to the world with. And what we're supposed to do is figure out why we have it. Because when we have it and we can change our minds or ideas about that, all of a sudden we're empowered, and we're starting to do things that would bring us everything that we've wanted. If you don't have the right career that you want, you're just not being yourself, that's all. And you haven't done the work to get there. And the work is asking the questions, getting the answers, looking at them, and changing your brain. And I am talking about cognitive behavior training. That's what I'm talking about, because that's how we get anywhere, is to change our limited thinking into something that's more expansive, that would allow us to do what we want to do in the world and stop being afraid of it. Because that is what it is. We're afraid of becoming ourselves. We're afraid of who we are. And this young lady, it took her a few minutes to be able to say the words. But once she said the words, everything changed with her and the entire audience. And it's going to be something that you're going to come to understand in your life, because we always do. We each have a life that we're meant to live. It's called, you have an evolutionary path that you're following. It's unique to you, but it's brilliant also. There's no one that does not have that. It's just that we start to think differently. I need you to really understand that it's only in your thinking. But because it's there, we have to then change it. I've spent decades doing that. I have taken every single course, every single program, counseling, every single possible work that you could think of to help someone find out who they are. And then I finally said, oh, I have it. Because I knew what it was. I wasn't being myself. And so because of that, I decided to develop something to have everyone become themselves, because I know that's how you can have everything that you want in your life. And it absolutely works. It's not possible for it not to work unless you are doing something to yourself in your thinking that's preventing it. That's all that it is. And sometimes it takes a while. I had one client in the program that I have. It's called Your Last Development Program. But anyway, I have someone who's in there, and I received a message from them today, and they're like, oh, I was doing really great. Now I'm not sure. Now I'm thinking everybody else is doing better than me. And that's the first thing that we screw up. We compare ourselves to someone else, and you have no idea what anyone else is doing. No one knew all the crap that I went through in my life. No one knew all the times that I was on my knees because I just wanted to give up. I wanted to kill myself. No one would ever know that. So you can't make an assumption about someone else because you don't know their experience. Every single person is moving through their trauma, their limitations, and their restrictions as they live in this life. Every single person. Even if you think of those who are big, owners, corporations, billionaires, same thing. It is no different. We just do it in different levels. But you have to think about you. This is about your life. I had decided that I was going to devote my life to helping people become who they were meant to be, your authentic self, meaning that you're never going to have any judgments about yourself. And it took me so long to get there. But this is why I said I don't have anything else. There's nothing else that anyone could do other than what I'm giving them in the program, your last development program, because there's nothing else that you would do anywhere else. You can go and take a whole bunch of other courses, go to a bunch of coaches and all of that and mentors, get all of them and keep doing it. You're going to do the same thing over and over again, just like I did. That's all that it is, until you decide that you're going to become vulnerable, that you're going to change, that you're willing to do that, that you're going to go into the unknown, which we find really scary, because now we got to be something different. But yeah, that's what you want. And then as you do that, you start coming into your authentic self and you feel better. You feel instantly, how did this happen? It's like you're putting yourself, you wake up one day and you think, I'm in a different body. And that's what happens, because we're all doing that. We're evolving. When you evolve, you go into new territories, but you have to be willing to accept them. There was no person ever born who had more ability or talent than you to create a magnificent life. It's just, you cannot tell me that anyone else has that. It just doesn't exist. Only thing they did was decided to believe themselves, and you had a different path and you didn't believe yourself, so now you can work on doing that. That is exactly what I did. That's the path that I followed, and I will tell you that when you reach that place, it's something you can't explain, especially if you've lived your life where you were afraid of everything, where you thought you had failed, where you thought you were just worthless, you had nothing to offer anyone. When you thought that, and then you do this work and come into knowing your authentic self, everything changes. The world changes for you. And that's the work that I'm going to do, because I know that the more people that I do that with, that I can accomplish that task to get them, force you to have everything that you want. That's really what it is, because I have to push you into allowing yourself to have everything that is available and have the best, most prosperous, happy, abundant life that you are designed to have. Every single person is. But think about that, because there's no one who is better than you. And when I work with a client, I want you to understand this. When I work with a client, I never see anything wrong with you, ever, because I know that there isn't. It just may be something you haven't figured out yet, and I can guide you to figuring it out and understanding, and then I can give you time to change your brain and allow that to settle in so you can turn into this new person. That's all that it is. And it's just you being willing to do the work, because what you have is something of genius quality. Every single person. We just have to change our minds about that. And you will.